So I haven't done a sound recreation video in a while, so today I wanted to try a Breaking Benjamin tune. So Chad Szeliga is an absolutely sick drummer, and the tones they get with David Bendit are just so massive, like punchy, and just, yeah, so good. So today I wanted to try and get some of those kind of sounds. So let's do it. So for the drums, it's my usual kind of stuff. I'm using my Tama Superstar Hyperdrive kit and my Pearl Sensitone bronze snare, 14 by 6.5. But also, I'm trying out this little guy. It's a Sonor 12 by 5.75 snare. So it's a steel snare, and yeah, it's just perfect for the side snare in this tune. So for the tuning, I've got my side snare cranked up. I've got my main snare kind of medium and pretty open. So I kind of went for this sound because, you know, it sounds really good in the room mics when the snare's not like really dead. So I was really happy how that came out. And for the toms, pretty standard rock toms, low and beefy. And then the kick, low again, low and slappy. So for cymbals, I got a 10-inch XS20 Splash. It actually belongs to my mate Alan, so cheers for that, mate. I got my Evolution 14-inch hi-hats, my Zultan Caz Crash 18, my AAX 10-inch Splash, my Evolution Ride 20-inch, a 16-inch Evolution Crash to get that really tight crash sound, and then an AAX Xtreme 19-inch China. For the mics, we got my SE8s as the overheads. Kind of focusing really on those cymbals. And then we got my E604s on the toms, SM57 on snare and hi-hats. And then I got this really fun mic. It's a Superlux mic, and it's just a lo-fi mic. Yeah, and it's just to add some excitement to the drum sound. And then we got D6 as the kick out, and a mic I absolutely love recently, which is my Audio-Technica Pro 25X, and that's just right in the kick drum to get that click and attack from the bass drum. So for rooms, I have a low ribbon, my MXL R144, and that's a little bit out from the kit, about 1.5 meters, just to pick up that ambience from the kick. Then we got my MXL V67Gs, and they're out facing the walls either side as stereo room mics. And that's all going through my Audient ASP800 and my ID44 interface. 4 channels on the interface and 8 on my preamps. So let's get into the Logic session. The first thing I want to do is just show you how the sound came out. Cool, so yeah, I was really happy with it. It's not exactly like the record, but it's pretty close. I was really happy with the weight in the snare. I think I could have tuned the snare a little bit higher maybe to get the kind of crack they had on the record, but I think then I would have sacrificed a bit of body. So I think I, you know, kind of got a decent compromise. So let's actually check out the sound completely dry. So the only plugins here are basically me flipping the phase just to get the phasing right on the different mics. But other than that, we got nothing else. It's just totally raw. I was happy with the raw tones, but you see there it takes quite a bit of mixing to get it that aggressive and exciting sounding. So let's check out some of the raw tones. So first of all, I got this lo-fi mic. So that was kind of placed under the kick and the snare. So it's just a mic that has a limited frequency range. It's kind of just a mid-range. Sounds really nice and balanced actually. Yeah, and then I'll just show you what I did to that. So some distortion, some kind of tube saturation, and then an expander. So yeah, let's check that out. Just kind of made it really dirty. Let's check out the hat mic. Pretty basic, just 57. And now it gets more exciting. We got the room mics. So I spent a good bit of time actually adjusting the heights and distances to get the kick and snare kind of balanced. So I don't know if the kick and snare imaging is absolutely perfect, but it's not too bad. It sounds pretty good. And I just think these two mics just sounded great together. The overheads, SE8s. One of the things I'd like to point out to look out for is when you're putting a splash cymbal on top of a crash, because you can get some weird sounds out of the crash, which I discovered after recording. So yeah, that's something a mistake I won't make in the future, but thankfully in the mix it's not too prevalent, so it's not too bad. The kick room, so this is kind of about a meter out from the kit, or maybe a little bit more. It's my ribbon mic R144, and check it out. Adds a lot of thickness to the sound and a lot of beef out of the kick. So really happy with that mic. So the kick in, my Pro 25 Audix mic. Shoved right in there. Some nice tack. And now the kick out. So I use a D6. So I really like the Audix D6, the sub in the mic. It's got this really nice kind of sub frequency to it, like around the 50 hertz range. You get this really like clean kind of sub. Still pretty punchy as well, because of that scoop mid-range. So yeah, it sounds pretty nice out of the gate. And the snare. So this ring in the snare was actually vital, because that's what makes the rooms and the overheads really speak with the snare. So add in the rooms and the overheads. So there's that nice length to the snare, which kind of makes it sound bigger. So I was really happy with that. And yeah, let's check out the rack and floor toms, which have been cut out. Yeah, pretty clean. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to the record. It definitely sounds like kind of clear heads, pretty low but open toms. So yeah, happy with that. Cool. So now let's check out some of the processing. So with the room mics, sound pretty massive. Was really happy with those. The MXL V67Gs. Yeah, I just kind of played with the placement, and yeah, I think they were really the key point to this mix. And recently I've been doing a lot of mono room mics, but I found with this stereo is great because it kind of opened up the center for the kick and snare, and then you just got that size from the rooms. So I was really happy with how this came out. So the processing, let's take away, let's just have a look at the EQ. So I use a SSL channel strip. So this is a plugin I got not too long ago. Absolutely love it. So I'm just kind of cleaning it up. I'm taking out like a good bit of the 400 hertz, and yeah, I'm also high passing quite a lot up to about 70 hertz or a bit more. Just to clean it up, leave room for the low end in the kick room and the kick mics. Cool. So with the EQ again. So it just takes out some of that congested kind of low mids, and in the context of the mix, that really helps make things sound a lot cleaner. So next up, we got another EQ where I'm just kind of trying to get rid of some of the harshness. I think that really helps. And I flip the phase on these mics because it seemed to work better with the rest of the kit. So my bus actually has some tube saturation, a good bit. Then I got my compressor. It's really making it sound massive. Again, taking out some more of that high end. And then we got Valhalla supermassive reverb. So I used the forward reverb and kind of just tweaked it. Sweet, so all those plugins in. I particularly liked how this came out for the intro because I didn't actually close mic the side snare. So if I listen to the track without the rooms in the intro, you'll hear what I mean. The hi-hats and the side snare really pop with the rooms, have that crunch. So it's night and day, just those room mics really help give some kind of excitement to the whole sound. So actually check out the mix without the rooms. Especially on this fill, it just like gives so much excitement. So without the rooms, I mean, it's cool, but with the rooms, it also brings out some kind of snap in the kick and yeah, just the reflections. Because both the mics are facing towards the wall, so we're just getting the reflected sound. And yeah, just makes it so much more exciting to listen to. So let's check out the overheads. So I just tried to tame a lot of those kind of harsh frequencies. Taking out a lot of harshness. So that's what I did with the overheads. So for the kick room, we got the SSL. So I'm adding some 50 hertz. That's basically it. I'm also low passing it and high passing it to just get it where I want it. So we got the filter up to like 40 hertz and then to like 10K just to get out some of those super tops because we don't really need them. And now the compressor. So I'm compressing it loads here. So that just gives me the bloom of the kick drum, the sustain, and kind of all the life of it. Some great low end off that mic as well. And now the kick in. So I'm using the SSL to take out a lot of low end up to 167. That's not really, I'm not being that precise. I just went to about there because I'm taking out the low end because I'm going to save that for the other mics. So this is just to focus on the attack. So I've boosted like 8K with a bell curve. Oh, and I also compressed. Also compressed up here, so. And yeah, so with and without. Just comes way more forwards, way more fronty. And then I got a C1 gate. In expander mode. Sounds really natural. And it just focuses the kick a bit more and gets rid of some of that bleed. And then I've got some kind of tube saturation again. So this is a free waves plugin that I got recently enough, and I absolutely love it. I've just been throwing it on loads of things. So it just gives it that like harmonic kind of little bit of distortion that like helps the kick cut. And then we got the kick out. So I got rid of all the top end and all the mid-range, just left the subs. Then I compressed it a little bit, and then I got the expander. Just to tighten it up a little bit more. So it's kind of like a sub kick. And then the snare, right. So I kind of struggled with the snare because I wanted to get all that ring, you know, but also wanted to cut out some of the bleed, and that was really difficult. So I think that's obviously why people use samples a lot. But I did my best to get it, you know, best of both worlds. So got the SSL, of course, has to be done. So here's it raw. You put the SSL on and it just all of a sudden sounds like, you know, a pro song. Like it sounds like something you've heard on a record. So I'm cranking 8K. I love that frequency and a snare. I'm also adding like some 5.5K-ish range. And then I'm boosting quite a lot of 145. And that's got a bell curve to it. So I'm basically just kind of getting the snare sound a bit more scooped, a bit more punchy. So night and day, but now of course we got more bleed. So I got the Logic expander. tames it a little bit. And then we got the C1 gate. And I could have stopped there, but I didn't. So I added some 3K because when I was listening to the record, it sounded a lot more, it had a lot more crack to it. So I was trying to compensate for the snare being a bit lower with that 3K. And then I added a compressor just to even out the snare a little bit. For the toms, I just compressed a bit, no EQ. Just to bring out some of that sustain, kind of give them a bit more energy. That's pretty much it. So one thing I wanted to interject with was my drum bus, because I forgot to mention it. So let's check it out. I got quite a lot of stuff going on. So here's the drum track without the drum bus. First of all, we got a Pultec EQ. I'm boosting some 100 Hertz, boosting some 10K, and doing a bit of attenuation here. And then I got the SSL. I'm boosting a tiny bit of 50, and I'm also boosting a tiny bit of 8K. Then I'm carving out some of the mid-range with the Pultec again, so cleaning it up just a little bit, and then I'm hitting it pretty hard with the compressor. So yeah, I'm getting like almost 10 dB reduction there. The compressor really makes it come to life. And then I'm using a multi-band compressor to kind of help with some of the low mids. Makes it a little bit more scoop sounding, which I think is good for this. And then that's not actually an EQ. So that's my drum bus. And then for my stereo out, I got another compressor just to glue it with the actual track. I got Soothe 2 here, which I'm very grateful. My brother Rory got me this plug-in for Christmas. He was like, oh, you got to check this out. So he actually got me this plug-in for Christmas, and it's really cool. I actually really need to start using it more, but I kind of got rid of some of the harshness. Cleans it up a little bit. But yeah, I gotta experiment with that plugin more, definitely. And then actually, here's a little tip. So I've got an EQ rolling off the highs and the lows, and a gain plugin in mono. So this is just to check what it sounds like, you know, if it's on a shitty speaker. So it still sounds pretty good, which is what we're going for. So to check it out with the song, you can check out the cover on my channel. I would play it with the song here, but don't want the video to get a copyright strike. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. And if you're interested on me recording on one of your songs, hit me up and let's get it going. So yeah, thanks a mil guys for watching.